All right, testing. Unexpectedly, it's I have to do this stream because I just got some updates. This is for Katsucon, and also I'm gonna do some COVID event guidance. So 11:48 p.m. It is Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. This is not a day when I do this streaming. Sorry, I was out of breath because I was running from the bathroom. So So just as a reminder, usually I stream around 11:30 ish, a little after 11:30 on Sunday and Friday, New York City time, because I have to watch the news and I have to monitor and all that stuff. And of course, I have a crazy unpredictable schedule. So anyway, without further ado, we actually need to get started right away. So will it show? Is it here? Don't tell me it's. Let's see if it appears. Let's see. Oh, is it here? Yes, there we go. But that's not the one we're talking about here. I had to restart the computer because the camera's acting weird. So we're actually going to go into something more specific to con survival. We're actually going to do COVID guidance for events. So soon, what I'll do is I'm gonna do I'm gonna do con survival pretty soon. But usually I do that for my live events, for in person, and that goes in general. And I also include the COVID stuff as well. In this case, we're gonna go pretty strictly on that on for COVID guidance. But before we do, we're gonna go over the Katsucon updates. So that would actually lead into the COVID guidance for events. So we'll learn from that. Okay, so Katsucon, just as a refresher, will take place Friday through Sunday, that is on February 18th through the 20th, 2022. Some people will even arrive the day before, and they'll be called Day Zero on Thursday, February 17th, and they're already going to be cosplaying on that day. But for essential workers like me, where and I'm not the kind of person who likes to take vacations or day offs. I like to work Monday through Friday, 10 to 7. Okay, and I need the money, and so I can pay the bills and all that stuff. I will only be there February 19th and the 20th. I'm gonna arrive there super early in the morning on the 19th, and then I'm gonna leave late on the 20th. So, as of January 11th, that's today, as of this broadcast of this live, you must be fully vaccinated. That means you should get your second dose of Moderna or Pfizer at least 72 hours prior to entry, or if you have a Johnson & Johnson one, get it at least 72 hours before entry. Johnson & Johnson is a second line, if just as a reminder, for three reasons. Number one, even it's not really too much of a single shot. It's not one, it was one and done like the flu, where you have to do once a year, because you will need a booster at least 2 months after the initial Johnson & Johnson shot. Number one. Number two, Johnson & Johnson by itself, just doing that single shot, is not effective against Omicron. And last time I checked, at least in the New York City area, about 99% of the cases are Omicron. It's been spreading really, really fast, at least here in New York City. And it's going up almost vertically in almost the entire U.S. That's why Katsucon made this decision today. Actually, I think it's earlier this evening when I was on my way home from work. So they said boosters are highly encouraged, but in my opinion, it's a must, especially if you got J&J for that reason. Also, the third reason almost forgot to tell you, is its risk of blood clots. So just be careful with that. We've seen that last year, when at one point they had to put the Johnson & Johnson vaccine on hold because full vaccination is required. Those under the age of 5 are not allowed to enter the con simply because their vaccine eligibility does not go below age 5. It's only for age 5 and above. Hi, Maki. Thank you for coming to the stream. Okay, and I just started. Okay, so I'm just going over the updates for Katsucon. Maybe you answered it, but yes, I am going to Katsucon. It is in my bio. I don't know if you see it because I always put it there, as most cosplayers do. Okay, so there is no testing option. On my last stream, I encourage people to get tested. There is no testing option. You have to be fully vaccinated. Just as a precaution, this is from me, okay? If I strongly encourage that you get tested every week. I get tested around Saturday or Sunday. But in this case, I think I'm going to get tested, what is it, maybe on the 15th, and I have to get there super early. And yeah, I have to get there super early, about 30 to 60 minutes early at least, or more, of course, because of those stupid lines, okay? So that's really, really, really very important. Okay, I still encourage people to get tested. As I said, I get tested every week. All right, and I am not using those home kits. No, I want a rapid antigen test or RAT and a PCR test. I want to make sure that I'm confirmed that I am negative. I even tell them to go through that thing with the swab and go just like a plumber. You gotta go get it in there tightly. Like I will show you. It's like this. Should be like this. See? Look. Here. And you go. And you go. Okay. See? Just like that. But I don't do it better. The other people do it, but they have to go. Okay. Anyway. I hope that wakes you up. Okay. Someone we're gonna put, you know what, Maki, at one point I'm gonna put a trailer and I hope someone clips this. Maybe that'll get me affiliated. Wait, you clip it, okay? You're one of my mods. Clip it. Okay, so you have to go. If I was on my laptop, you would have. Wait, you're on your phone, I guess. Okay. Well, you can. If you have an iPhone, you record. Hey, you have an iPhone. You can record it, and then you just. Oh no, but it wouldn't. You wouldn't put it on Twitch. Oh well. Okay. So. All right. No vaccination exemptions. No testing option. But I still need you to get tested anyway. Maybe I'll go back to the VOD and grab. Yes, thank you. Yeah. That would be great. Wait till Nikki sees this one. Is Nikki there? I don't know. Okay, so the accepted proof. So of course, can't go wrong, or can you? Can't go wrong with with an original physical vaccine card. But of course, I've heard people. I'm probably sure you heard it too. People faking your vaccine cards. Hey, what's up? Hey, Josh, how are you? I think he's gonna get a kick out of it. Yes. I know. Okay, so it's important to have a original physical vaccine card. No photos, so don't have a photo or photocopy of it. Don't have a copy, and don't take a picture on your phone and show it to them. That's not going to work that way because people can actually do edits or photoshopping on their iPhones now. Okay. So by the way, Maki, meet a new streamer named Friendly Gamer B, who's Josh. He's one of my friends. He's up in Westchester, so in our neck of the woods in the tri-state. All right, so In it, if the in addition, you have to have it. You have to have the vaccine card. I have it hiding somewhere, and it's going through wear and tear. That's why I also have a digital vaccine record. If you're in New York State, the Excelsior Pass should be good enough, but you must get a an Excelsior Pass Plus. Why? Because that one doesn't expire. And please, please, please get your boosters. If you get your boosters, you can get the Excelsior Pass Plus. Oh, Josh is gonna stream tomorrow. When are you gonna stream tomorrow? Okay, hopefully it's late at night because during the day I'm working. Okay, so has to get it from a government body, so that's the Excelsior Pass. Other states do it as well. New York State happens to be the first one, so they did it, I think, back in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta double check that. So, if a healthcare provider provides that digital vaccine record or authorized vaccine administrator, so you can display it on the device or you can have it printed out. And if you have a a vaccine record through an app, okay, update your apps regularly just to be safe. Okay, but that vaccine record app should be from a government body, healthcare provider, or authorized vaccine administrator. What I don't understand is I don't like Clear and Azova are not accepted. I don't know why those vaccine passport apps are not accepted. I know Clear, you that was for near Comic Con. That's a requirement to download Clear because it's to make things easier. And thank goodness, from what I've heard for New York Comic Con last year, there was no issue of an outbreak. Unlike Anime NYC went through with get at least one dose. New York Comic Con was much stricter. Full vaccination is required, and the last dose, so the second dose of the Pfizer Moderna, has to be given at least 2 weeks before attending New York Comic Con. If it's less than that, you're not allowed to go to New York Comic Con. This one for Katsucon, it's a little easier, so it says at least 72 hours prior to entry. Just know that you are not invincible if you get vaccinated. Just letting you know. Okay, if you play a Sonic game, when you become Supersonic will still get squashed or can fall into a ditch and die, even though he's supersonic. Okay, just letting you know. And so if 3 days is not enough to make you 100% fully vaccinated, but even that, being fully vaccinated is not enough. Okay, as I said with the Swiss cheese model, you have to have multiple layers. Vaccination is one layer. You got to wear a high quality mask now, which I'll explain. Okay, and you have to wear it at all times, or you don't get into the con. It's as simple as that. So yeah, there's more. So a lot of it is from the website and also their Instagram and the Katsucon's Instagram. So there will be limited close contact events at this discretion of special guests. So I don't know if they're gonna do something where maybe they're gonna social distance, or in near Comic Con's case, there was actually a some kind of a divider, a line. Hey DJ Nikki, hey Nikki. Thanks for joining the stream. I was actually looking for you because I think you ended the stream a little earlier. But anyway, again, thank you so much for dropping by on my special stream night. Usually, this is not Tuesday is not the day for me to stream. Usually, it's Sunday night and Friday night at 11:30. Oh, I see. Okay, so I got two of my mods. Yes. Okay. Very good. Now, limited close contact events at discretion of special guests. So there might be some social distancing. There might be some kind of a partition, which you see when you get to New York Comic Con. I met John Cena through a glass. He was cool. I really wanted to shake his hand, but unfortunately we couldn't. So when you had one of those photo ops, there was some kind of a line or demarcation between the special guest and the attendees. So maybe there's a possibility that they're going to do that. So I don't know how autographs will be, I know the autographs for Anime NYC was there was no partitioning whatsoever, but masks are required even when you take pictures. Okay, so bullying anyone for wearing a mask is not allowed. That should be logical. That everyone should know that by now. Yes, I know. And you were just standing next to a plexiglass. Yeah, it's a wall of glass. Okay, so sanitizing stations, as per the website says, will be placed all over the venue. I'd say you put hydration stations too, because even though it's during the winter and it's not during the summer, it's very important to stay hydrated. And also, they're encouraging vendors to do contact-free payments. So using the tap to pay kind of thing, Apple Pay, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. I had to pay through Zelle at a boba tea shop. It's boba tea shop. I mean restaurant. So at the boba restaurant, I had to use Zelle to pay for it. I wanted to use my credit card, but for some reason there was something going on with the internet. I don't know. So if you do not follow the policies, your ass is gonna be kicked out. See ya. I'm sorry, and very likely you will not be refunded. And by attending Katsucon, you voluntarily assume all risks related to COVID exposure, and they will not be held liable. Okay, so you attend the con at your own risk. It's as simple as that. I am still going. Okay, and I will do my review as well, and I will do my review here on Twitch. That's right. I'm also going to post it on Instagram as well. So that'll be great. All right, just as a reminder for Katsucon cosplay photo shoot, it's going to be limited. So if you missed my last stream, cosplay photo shoots will be Friday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And actually, it's not in there. It's not in there for some reason as compared to last time, but each slot will be 15 minutes. Not 1 hour, not 30 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know how you can do a photo shoot in 15 minutes, especially if you're dealing with Fate, for example, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Pokemon, with Attack on Titan, maybe, or most anime. Most anime, you're gonna need basically an hour because they'll be doing just even with the individual characters and doing whole groups or even doing ships. So we have to keep that to a minimum or do it as quick as we can. And there are 4 locations: it's gazebo, balcony, right, dance lounge, and fountain. So for the fountain, it's 20 participants maximum to take a picture of. Then all the other 3 locations, 10 participants. That's it. Oh, Kuya Dean, are these policies that you see in Katsu Mensa? That's right. It's on their website, and for more information, I just break it down into simple bite-sized pieces. It's both in Instagram and on the website. Just wanted clarity since I hopped in late. Oh, it's okay. That's fine. When I got David Matranga autograph, by the way, yes, I got the autograph too. See, here it's over here. So let me go back to this. So this is David Matranga here. This is what he wrote this year. I think this one was 2019 here for these two. So the only one I'm missing is Ochako. Oh, you didn't have the glass. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. So I also got wait, Tokoyami here as well. Tokoyami's not even in here, so I met the person there too. So I kept that there. So all I need is Uraraka. I got all the other people's signatures. Okay. Let me put this back. And this one also I got from Justin Briner. I met him a few times. So, oh wait, it's dropping. What's going going on here? Okay. Let me. That's unexpected. Okay. Let me move this. No. Oh. Live TV, isn't it? Oh, this is what happens when you're live. And stick. I'm gonna need new tape for this. This has been there for God knows how many years. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't fall. Moving on. Okay. So the thing is, anyone can take pictures of those participants, but they haven't specified on capacity limits. So we're assuming there's no capacity limits for those taking pictures. If you've been to a con, especially for a photo shoot where a lot of people like that anime, you're going to see a lot of photographers, whether it's professional or amateur or other attendees. They're bringing out the cameras and they're not social distancing. And also, there are special slots for small group or individual shoots at the gazebo, and it's only for 2 hours. Friday, Saturday. It's Friday to Saturday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And lines will start about 15 minutes prior. So that's something to look into. Okay. So also over here, this is the plan from looking from the top. All right, I don't know if you're able to see my arrows here, but this is one photo shoot here. That's a gazebo. Another one here is the fountain. The one over here on the right. This is the balcony right. The dance, I don't know where it is. I have to look into that. But they didn't focus a lot on that. And whoever has not gone to Katsucon before, is held. It will be held in the Gaylord National Resort. That's in National Harbor, Maryland. That's a small section. That's in a part of Oxon Hill, Maryland, and it is a DC suburb, and it's right. It's like touching DC, but it's not part of DC. It's part of Maryland. But a lot of people. Last time I was there to stay at a hotel, maybe 2 Katsucons ago, I stayed at a hotel in Alexandria, Virginia. It was across the water. It was across the Ronald Reagan Bridge. That's the bridge that connects, that you see by Katsucon. Actually, it's right over here. I'm going to show it to you. This is the bridge over here. So this part is Virginia over here. This is the bridge, but this part is considered Maryland. if that makes any clearer. All right, so they talked about how being fully vaccinated is a requirement for getting to Katsucon. I think just as a reminder, okay, if you have Pfizer, get your 2 doses 3 weeks apart. Ignore the proposed because they're not accepting anyone under the age of 5. That proposed is not even approved by FDA yet or CDC, simply because they are still studying the data and they're still performing the trial. Moderna, as I hope everyone knows, 2 doses 4 weeks apart. That's only for adults. Johnson & Johnson is only 1 dose, obviously, and that's only for adults as well. So next one here. So the booster. If you want a booster, I strongly encourage that you get the booster. If you have Pfizer or Moderna and you're an adult, it's 1 dose of any 3, preferably Pfizer or Moderna, at least 5 months after the 2nd dose. So that's a recent change from January 8th. Okay, so that's for adults. For ages 12 to 17, you're only doing Pfizer. All 3 shots will be Pfizer. Okay, so 1 shot, and then the 2nd shot 3 weeks later, and then the 3rd shot 5 months after that 2nd shot. How do you get your own emotes? I don't know. The thing is, I actually have other people make it. I didn't upload my own emotes, by the way. So I know Nikki has his made by someone named Crowy, I think. You should go follow that person. You should go follow her on Instagram and Twitch. So great streamer as well, and is bilingual too. Okay, so if you started with Johnson and Johnson, you have to get any three, preferably Pfizer or Moderna, at least 2 months after your initial dose. Okay, so big one. That's a big one here. So if you're going to Katsucon and it's been more than 2 months after your first dose, my apologies. You have to get you have to get your booster. Okay. If you're moderately or severely immunocompromised, uh, if 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 you don't want to go, that's okay. But if you really, really, really want to go, you have to get one dose of Moderna Pfizer at least 28 days after your second shot. So Pfizer, you have to do Pfizer or Moderna as your primary series. You have to be fully vaccinated with either Pfizer or Moderna. If your age is 5 to 17, it's Pfizer only. So it's going to be one for Pfizer, and then 3 weeks later, you have the second Pfizer, and then 28 days later, you have the third dose. And then ignore the proposed because that's a fourth dose, at least 5 months after the third dose for Moderna and Pfizer. That one is not authorized or approved yet. Okay, it is proposed. Okay, that one's probably coming more soon than the primary series for those under the age of 5. Okay, so you have your little background on what Katsucon's doing. Now I'm gonna do COVID guidance for events in general, and this is just a rough draft. Yes, it's a rough draft because I did the information before, but once I got the update for Katsucon, when I was on my way home, I started typing up the guidance as I was commuting back home from work. If you do plan to go to an event, please get fully vaccinated and boosted. Now, you got to follow the guidelines that I've explained earlier, okay? If the booster dose is at least 5 months and it's not 5 months yet, don't get your booster before 5 months. It's going to affect the efficacy of the vaccine. If you haven't heard from one of my stories, for me, I got Moderna. The first dose was in January. The second dose was in February, so mid January, mid February, and then my third dose was October 23rd. So it was 8 months, but it's not my fault. Okay, even though it's more than 5 months, CDC, FDA didn't approve the booster for Moderna yet at the time. They approved it for Pfizer though, and at the time it wasn't 5 months; it was 6 months. That being said, though, I just want to make this very clear: for getting the booster shot after getting your 2 doses of Pfizer or Moderna, there's a little bit of flexibility there, and if you want to get it later, that's fine for the booster. The problem is the longer you wait, the longer you delay, the higher you are at risk of getting a breakthrough infection. Let me read this chat. I forgot. Sorry. How I wish I can go to Katsucon. If you want, it's up to you. All right. I'm going there. I planned everything, and I don't think they're canceling anytime soon, given that they're putting all these new policies. All right. Bring important documents. If you see my YouTube videos on Con Survival, and I did a few versions of it, and it keeps changing simply because of the COVID landscape, gotta get all your tickets. Okay. So, for example, transportation, okay, event tickets, I would have it as in an electronic format that you can use on your phone and also on paper. Also have your government photo ID, such as your driver's license. So it's better you can have it on your phone, but in this case you must have a original physical photo ID. All right. I don't I don't think I have it on my actually I think I do have it on my phone, but I have it on the COVID Safe app that's used for those who live in the five boroughs of New York City. In addition, transportation itinerary and hotel info, very important. I tend to have it both on my phone and on paper. Okay, that one if you're better off electronic, just don't lose your phone and make sure that your phone's fully charged. I forgot to put that there. And also not only fully charge your phone, also have one or two of your cords. So let me take this one out. So this one, I use an iPhone, so gotta have this. Gotta have this. Gotta charge it. What I do, I'm gonna bring this. See, look at this. Look at all these USB ports because I also have a charger for my Apple Watch. See this? All the gadgets. If you want to bring your iPad, all right, or if you want to charge other things. See, you hear the sound. Okay. If you have your laptop, bring also this. Look, where is this? Oh my god. Have a great rest of your. No problem. Oh yes, so yes, you can see the VOD. I'm also going to upload this on YouTube. So here, look at this. So bring all this. This is connected to my laptop. If you bring your laptop, if you're going to do panels, okay. All right, bring your battery packs. Make sure they're fully charged. I have two battery packs. Make sure they're both fully charged. All right, not all like in transportation, not all buses. I know Amtrak they have the outlets so you can charge while you're commuting. But of course, before you leave, just make sure you bring it with you. Make sure you unplug before the train arrives at the station. Don't forget it at the train. Okay, so and what I'm doing ever since the pandemic started, unfortunately, I have to put insurance on my transportation. So I put insurance on Amtrak. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. And I think I put insurance on the hotels as well. Like, God forbid if I have to make a cancellation, okay, I at least I get reimbursed. If you're able to find, if you're able to book a hotel that has free cancellation, that'll be great. Or if it has a cancellation deadline that is right before the event or on or during the event, that'll be great. So as long as it doesn't have early cancellation. All right. In addition to that, even though the con doesn't require you to do that, I still require you to get tested with both the rapid test and the PCR anyway, because you don't want to spread it, whether you're vaccinated or not. There's always a certain degree of spreading it. So, always test yourself. Unfortunately, if you're positive, I'm sorry, that's a no-go. Okay? So that's what I'm hoping. I'm a little nervous now because I really, 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 really want to go, and I planned this ever since June of last year. Okay? Well, in terms of going there. In terms of cosplay, that's another story. So I think the updates will come in as we get closer because we're still more than a month away from Katsucon. Okay, so as I put insurance, get tested both rapid and PCR no more than 3 days before the event. If you're able to do it the day before the event, that'll be great. The problem is the unpredictability on the turnaround time. So that's why it would be 3 days, because in case if it takes a little bit longer. My PCR test this week, it took about 2 days to come. Antigen test, it took me about 20 minutes. So, but I strongly encourage to do both. And also do the same thing, PCR and rapid, about 3 to 5 days after the event, at least 3 to 5 days after the event. Because if you get tested right after you return, you may get a false negative. And then all of a sudden, you're going to develop symptoms around maybe 3 to 5 days later. And then you'll think, oh, it's nothing, but still get tested. And of course, if you get tested positive, I'll go over more into that. You obviously stay home and isolate or quarantine. Very important. Okay. In your bag, also bring your hand sanitizer, your wipes, your Your mask, extra masks, very important. Preferably your N95, KN95, or your KF94s. Now they're saying surgical mask. I recommend if you do have a surgical mask, you double mask with a cloth mask. I know sounds uncomfortable, but that's like the next best thing other than the KN95, N95, all those things. I now wear a KN95 every day now because of how transmissible Omicron is. So also bring a lot of fluids. I always bring a water bottle with me and bring medications. So your vitamin C, vitamin D. I forgot to put B12, so put B12 in there or B complex, but B12, B complex. Well, B complex used for like the overall. B12 people use that also for helping with COVID. All right, it's not a cure for COVID, by the way. It's not a treatment, but people use that with their immune system, along with the vitamin C, vitamin D3, the zinc, the elderberry. I bring a lot of lozenges, the cough drops. See, look at this. I have a lot of that, of the Halls, and I have the Ricola in there. Look at that. Okay, so very important. I bring this with me every single day. Maybe I'm gonna take one right now. I'm sorry. I think I'm talking a lot, so my throat's getting a little raspy. So, okay. So next one. So this is an example of the vaccination card. So that one, that you can't go wrong with it. Okay, I think that's the primary source of primary information. And you cannot show a photo like I'm doing. Okay, it has to be physical, original vaccination card. And with the vaccine passport, it's by the government, of course. It's the Excelsior Pass, so that's accepted as well. I always like to have more than one, just to be safe, because there are a few assholes out there where they're pretty obstinate, pretty stubborn. So make sure that you cover your bases, just in case. So the guidance here, as I said before, wear a high quality, properly worn masks. Okay, N95, KN95, KF94 surgical masks. Okay, and you cover with the cloth mask. I already said about the full vaccination. Very important. And please, please, please get boosted, because that's how you fight against Omicron. Okay, if you've gotten your full vaccination, if it's recent, that's fine. But if it's months out, then you're at risk of a breakthrough. So get boosted. So as I said again, negative rapid and PCR tests required up to 3 days prior to attending. That's for in general. Katsucon, they don't require the testing option or medical or vaccine exemptions. You have to be fully vaccinated. But that's something that I really recommend for cons in general and events as well. All right. And when you come back, you have to do a rapid or PCR test at least 3 to 5 days after leaving the event. And venues, and I don't see this with Katsucon for some reason. Venues need to have a lot of rapid testing sites. All right. And this is to make sure that people have at least have peace of mind. Okay. And there should be temperature health checks. Obviously, if you're symptomatic or not feeling well, or if you have a temperature that's a little high, so the minimum temperature to get a fever is 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, no entry. I'm sorry. And then, as Katsucon already stated, what they're doing is that it's important to provide adequate hand sanitizer stations and water stations, of course. But when you're using hand sanitizer like Purell, you have to have at least 60% of alcohol. Doesn't matter what alcohol it is, at least 60%. Okay? Because you can't have it too high. And the reason being is that if you have it too high, it evaporates too fast. It may do some killing, but it'll evaporate so fast. If you have it a little low, it may not be enough to kill all the virus and bacteria. But when you have 60%, it's enough to kill them, but not only kill them, but also you have the alcohol there for longer periods of time, so you can wipe for about 20 seconds if you're able to. I still strongly recommend washing your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water, and you keep doing it like this. So do cover all your bases. Don't miss any of your bases. Go massage the hand. Do this in between here. Do the thumb thing. All that stuff. Okay, very important. Okay, and what is this one? Let me see here. Oh wait, sorry. Oh, you know what? That's not COVID. It's COVID guidance for events. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me just do this. So, if tested positive, all right, do not attend. I know that sounds obvious, but do not attend. Okay, you quarantine for at least 5 days and then you retest. CDC, I don't know why they don't want to do a retest, but for me, do a retest. Okay, if you're still positive and or have symptoms on day 5, you continue quarantine until your symptoms are resolved and you're fever free for at least 24 hours without using fever medications. Only then you retest. If negative, you end the quarantine. If positive and asymptomatic, properly wear a high quality mask. So the three masks I stated for that has the KN95, N95, KF94. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have it down in your head by now, even if you're not writing this down. Very important. Okay, so if you still have the symptoms, it doesn't matter if you have a negative PCR or a negative rapid. Still stay home. We don't want you to spread any other disease that includes COVID. Okay, so we don't want you to spread the flu. We don't want you to spread any other virus or any bacteria whatsoever. So another guidance is that outdoors is best because you have very good ventilation as long as you're distanced adequately. Okay, but if you're in packed crowds, even if you're outdoors, you can still be spreading the virus. If you're indoors, it's very important that the venues have their systems where air purification, ventilation, and filtration are optimized, and at its at its top performance. Very important. Okay, in both settings, crowding needs to be limited, and with social distancing, you already know the 6 feet or 2 meters or 2 arms length like this. Okay, so to maintain as best as possible. The thing is, it's not always realistic, so it is okay. So you're gonna use your elbows or your arms instead of shaking hands. But if you do shake hands, always get your hand sanitizer in your bag and wipe it. Okay, and adequate signage of safety protocols, that's very important. So you can put the distancing on it, but it's not always realistic. So put the wear a mask, put the hand washing for 20 seconds, those kinds of things, and try to limit close contact with crowds, those kinds of things. All right, so I will say this again: do your part. Okay, get vaccinated and boosted, wear your correct masks. If you're sick, even if it's mild, get tested. Okay, and quarantine if you tested positive and or have symptoms. So do social distancing if possible. Again, wash your hands and try to limit durations in crowds. So just as a summary, I went over this on the last stream. These are the updated ones from the CDC in regards for the isolation and quarantine recommendations. So if you test positive, day 1 to 5, you stay home, and then day 6 to 10, you wear a mask. It doesn't say anything about testing. Again, I'd say test on day 5 if you still have the symptoms and or positive still. You continue staying home and you recover. If you are boosted and exposed to COVID, so you monitor your symptoms and you test on day 5 if you develop symptoms. So if you do develop symptoms, you stay home. Okay, by the way, if you have a fever, continue to stay home until you are fever free for at least 24 hours without the use of medication to lower the fever. So, if you were exposed to COVID and you're boosted, and then on day 5 you get tested, and not, the thing is, if you're tested negative, continue wearing the mask for another 10 days. I been wearing a mask every single day, no matter what, except when I'm alone in my house. And I'm in healthcare, so I have to wear the mask continuously unless if I'm eating or drinking. If you're exposed to COVID and are unvaccinated, or your last vaccination was more than 6 months ago, was if the second dose is more than 6 months ago with Pfizer and Moderna, or your J&J shot was at least, well, actually more than 2 months away. So day 1 to 5, you stay home and you test on day 5. Okay, very important. Testing is paramount. It should be. It's really, really, really very important. As I said, do both PCR and antigen. Okay, and test on day 5 if you develop the symptoms, and if you still have symptoms, you stay home. Okay, if you don't have symptoms and you're negative, you wear a mask. But as I said, continue wearing a mask, especially in public places like indoors and outdoors, and if you're dealing with gatherings. Okay, so testing. I'm gonna go just a summary of it. I talk about PCR. That's the molecular one, so they're interchangeable. There's the antigen, and then there's the antibody. Okay, so the main things we're going to talk about is molecular and antigen. Antibody just says yes or no, basically. And if it's a yes, it'll show an IgM, which is active infection, and IgG, which is that it's a past infection. But it doesn't tell you, how strong your immunity is against COVID. It just says you got it, you have antibodies to it. But it doesn't show what level it is, at least in this case. So the main things are the PCR and the antigen. So as a refresher, PCR detects the RNA of COVID. Antigen detects the proteins. So it's through the nasal. I don't like throat swabs. I think I get a gag when that happens. So if you saw my video earlier, I was going, okay, on my nose with the nasal swab. Okay, so that's how they collect it. I do that every week. All right, now the next thing is that PCR is the gold standard because it detects the RNA. How I see it is like this. Even if you have proteins detected, that's the antigen part. I see it like this. An RNA is like the driver, so that's the one causing the problems. But the protein is like the cars. Okay, the cars can't move by itself without the driver. In this case, the RNA. So sometimes you can get a positive antigen test, and then you can get a negative RNA, and you have no symptoms. You're fine. It's just you had what we call viral debris in this case. You cleared out the virus, but you still have just the leftovers of the fragments of the proteins. Okay, so again, that's why you do antigen and PCR. They're not perfect, but at least you get a better shot. So that's putting 2 layers to your protection layers. That's if you see the Swiss cheese model. Okay, so that being said, though, testing is very important. If you test 3 to 5 days after, okay, that's why I do it every week to make sure if anything comes up, I'm able to catch it. Okay, so that's just a summary of going over with the test being used. So if you have your home kits, all right, again, this is a refresher. What you'll see here is that on C is control, so that makes sure if that the test is working. If you see a line here on the T, you're tested positive. Even if you see a teeny bit, you're still tested positive. But always get a confirm your PCR, as I said before. Get both. This one here, if there's nothing at all, if you look closely, you see nothing, you're negative. And then these two, invalid. Okay, so the C means control. That means that these lines have to show up. That means the test is working. Okay, so it's like a pregnancy test, as someone told me. And that's about it. I know I went over a few things that are that I went over from the previous stream, but this is actually to tie together. So, that's basically the summary of of Katsucon's COVID-19 policies, and then also I tied it in with the general COVID guidance for events. So, if there are any changes or any updates or any clarifications, you may see it on Instagram and slash or I will talk about it on my next stream, which is this Friday, and that would be on the 14th. So I'll talk about the COVID updates, particularly with the United States slash New York State slash New York City, and I'll talk about the subways for the weekend. So let's see who am I gonna raid. I'm a little embarrassed because I did not plan this one out. Who am I gonna raid? It's I like there's this I'm gonna raid Claire actually. She's from I think San Diego. She's an amazing streamer as well. Go follow her as well. It's Claire Bridges. I'll send you there. And she's doing Animal Crossing right now. She also does art as well. So let's do it. Claire Bridges. So I hope everyone has learned something from it, even if you're not going to Katsucon, and I hope you all stay healthy and safe, as my mod and friend DJ Nikki Zem has said. It's very important to stay healthy and safe even this time. So please, do your part so we can beat COVID and we can get back to life, to pre-COVID, the pre-COVID days basically, where we don't have to worry about wearing masks and we don't have to worry about remote learning or getting cases and getting sick and all that stuff, and so we don't have to deal with the vitriol. So I will see you this Friday night, 11:30 p.m. New York City time, or a little bit after because I'm Filipino and we have Filipino time, and sometimes I get delayed because sugar honey iced tea happens. Anyway, have a good night. See you.